Well, let's go first to Japan for the Tokyo Assembly election. Zenko Kurishita and Shigeru Uchida ran for the same seat. Kurishita from the opposition Democratic Party of Japan is a 26-year-old former IT worker. Now, he announced his candidacy only 9 days before the vote. Meanwhile, Uchida from the ruling Liberal Democratic Party is over 70. He's held the Tokyo Assembly seat, the same one, for 26 years. In the end, though, the veteran had to make way for the newcomer, and in many ways their personal fate mirrors the entire election. Yes, the DPJ triumphed over the ruling LDP.
For the first time in 44 years, the LDP lost Tokyo. And it's the fifth defeat by the opposition DPJ in local elections in recent weeks. Municipal contests, the Tokyo Assembly election in particular, are viewed as bellwethers for the national election. The DPJ is riding high.
In the Tokyo Assembly election, people strongly show their dissatisfaction as a result of how national politics and state politics are being run. The voters are saying no both to metropolitan politics and to national politics.
On Tuesday, the DPJ-led opposition bloc approved a censure motion against Prime Minister Taro in the upper house. The motion has little binding force, but it's a slap in the face to the Prime Minister. Chinese analyst Liu Jiangyong says Taro Aso's troubles aren't just from the opposition.
Aso was elected to win the general election, but he didn't call an early election when his popularity was at around 50% and his party might have benefited from his high popularity. Today, his approval rating has dropped below 20%. Some LDP members criticize him for bad timing, and some criticize his mediocre performance as prime minister. Some young LDP parliamentarians have even suggested he be replaced as party president.
Aso can present a charismatic image through the lens of mass media. The grandson of former Prime Minister Shigeru Yoshida and the son of the chairman of the Aso Cement Company, he's got the family pedigree. But he's failed to make the most of it. It took him 4 tries and almost 3 decades in the House of Representatives to reach the top last September. In January, Aso wrote his New Year's message, Safety and Vitality. Now, after 10 months in office, he hasn't solved any of the headaches that plague his party or Japanese society.
Politically speaking, the blows to the scandal-plagued cabinet have come one after another. 3 ministers in Aso's cabinet stepped down in less than a year. And with a divided parliament where opposition parties control the upper house and can delay bills, it's tough for Aso to implement policies. There's also the constant internal fighting among factions of the LDP. And the LDP's hereditary politics reinforces its image as being a cause of the ossified political system. Public distrust of the party is high.
Compounding the political problems are economic woes. The global downturn has sent Japan's economy into its biggest slump since the Second World War. Aso has repeatedly stressed he would do his utmost to pull Japan out of the recession and to improve people's lives. Aso unveiled a $51 billion economic package soon after taking office. But it hasn't prevented Japan from experiencing a sharp contraction. And according to the government, Japan's seasonally adjusted unemployment rate reached a 5-year high of 5.2% in May. Job availability dropped to the lowest level on record. Pessimists outnumber optimists, and the public has begun to express displeasure at the ballot box. On Tuesday morning, Aso put on a brave face and promised to fight on.
The Prime Minister has told us that the general election will be held on August the 30th and that he will do his best to win the election.
Newspapers publish special editions to report the news. This man in Tokyo said he was surprised by the LDP failure in the Tokyo Assembly election. This woman in Sapporo said she thought such moves should have been made earlier. And this woman in Nagoya said she welcomed the move, which finally put an end to the long-standing issue. The general election will determine leadership of the ruling party in the Diet, and with it comes the premiership. The August election might oust the LDP from the House of Representatives. Since its founding in 1955, the LDP has governed Japan almost uninterrupted for more than 50 years. It only lost power for an 11-month period in 1993-94 to a jumble of opposition groups. The Democratic Party of Japan, or the DPJ, is only a decade old. It was formed in 1998, a merger of several small parties. It created a powerful amalgam that won 60 out of 121 contested seats in the upper house election in 2007.
有几个政党联合组成的，它其中有这样几部分人。
Besides having little experience as a ruling party, the Democratic Party of Japan has some other disadvantages. Though it's not as factionalized as the LDP, the Democrats do have some factions or groups. Despite opposing the LDP, it's difficult at times for the party to agree on security and other policies. And the party is also plagued by scandals. Its former party leader was forced to resign in May, and the current leader's fundraising has come under scrutiny. What's more, the current leader, Yukio Hatoyama, is the grandson of former Prime Minister Ichiro Hatoyama, and the son of former Foreign Minister Ichiro Hatoyama. He's also a beneficiary of Japan's hereditary politics.
According to NHK's monthly survey, respondents prefer a government led by Yukio Hatoyama over one led by Taro Aso by more than 2 to 1. But around half of the country wants neither, underscoring the deep frustration with the entire political class.
There's a huge possibility that the opposition Democratic Party might win the general election, but this doesn't mean that the Japanese people are fully supporting the opposition leader. It's solely because the people have given up on the ruling party and they're seeking an alternative to replace the ruling party so that the true, strong leader will come out of this competition.
When the economy is in the doldrums, the pendulum of public opinion swings. It happened in the 1990s when Japan churned through 9 prime ministers in 10 years and the LDP briefly lost power. The general election on August 30th might bring Japan a historic change of government. But no matter which party takes an upper hand, it faces the demanding task to get the world's second largest economy back on track.
Well, the dynamics of Japanese politics shows that ordinary people care most about social security, employment and other pocketbook issues. The economy has its own logic of going up and down. It's fair to say that the cards were not in Taro Aso's favor when he took office. But when the party's popularity has been waning for years, self-inspection is sorely needed. That's it from Japan, but coming up next, we'll talk about the virtual reality of war. This is World Insight.